and joined as always by my partner in crime, Grant Harvey. We'll give folks a minute
Hello.
to stroll in here while we're getting things set up. But we have an extra special guest we are super excited to bring to you today. We have Nikita Rudin from Flexion Robotics. How are you, Nikita? It's a pleasure
Hi
to meet you.
everyone, pleasure to meet you too. I'm really excited to be here, especially since we have that demo planned in a few minutes.
I know I'm so
Yeah.
excited. Yeah, if you're just getting here, you're gonna want to hang on because here in just a bit, they have a humanoid robot connected to their system that we're gonna get to watch for a few. Should be super cool. We're excited because we've never had a robot on the podcast, and we're excited about you too, Nikita. I promise.
Yeah. The
Oh
robot
goodness.
The robot usually steals the
fight
show,
to
but
be the star of the show.
Yeah, I'll bet they do. I bet they do. Like, look at this robot
So
I
I guess
gave a
let's.
brain to. Wow, I don't even want to talk to you. I just want to see the robot. It feels like
right,
the way people probably react.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Nikita, you're based out of Zurich, right? For
that's
folks who
right.
don't know. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started the company and where I guess where you got started in robotics?
Absolutely. So I did my master's and PhD at ETH, which is the university here in Zurich.
Hmm.
And during my PhD years, I was working at NVIDIA at the same time. At NVIDIA, we were developing simulators for robotics. And so we were
Awesome.
developing the tools at NVIDIA, and then I was using those tools myself, kind of as a beta tester within my PhD. And I was doing that with my co-founder David, who's sitting right over there, about to operate the robots in a few minutes.
Hi, David.
You'll see him in just a few minutes.
Excellent.
And yeah, so this is how we started in robotics. My PhD was all about training robots using reinforcement learning, which means that you don't tell them exactly what to do, but you let them practice on their own, and they need to figure out basically by themselves through trial and error how to solve the task.
How a
I was not
child does
working
it.
exactly. That's exactly how it works. What the way robots do it is a very inefficient way, a very inefficient version of what children do. So
That
it
makes sense.
takes tens of years of virtual experience to learn how to stand up and walk. But luckily, it's virtual experience, so it's actually just a few hours of computation
So
on a
you're able
model.
to speed it up. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And simulate years. That's fascinating.
I don't know if there's any Dragon Ball Z fans in the house, but it's like the hyperbolic chime chamber. If you've ever seen that show, basically it's this room where like everyone goes where they train for years
Oh,
and years,
Grant.
like to get even more powerful. You can do that with
Yeah,
robots.
that's it.
Yeah.
So we have a bunch of these rooms on everyone's computer and in the cloud training a lot of different robots on different tasks at the same time.
That's
It's awesome.
amazing. What does that look like? So is each room like focused on a specific type of task, like how to grab something, and understand, I assume, pressure, weight, how to move your fingers, how not to break it.
That's a great question, and there are different people, companies approach it from different sides. We're doing exactly what you just described. So we break it down into specific skills. We train those skills separately. One of them might be stand up. Another one is walking on stairs or all sorts of
Hmm.
obstacles. You should see later a robot picking up a box. So that's another skill. Or opening a door is yet another one. And then we train those. We call them experts. We train those different experts in those different virtual worlds, and then we combine all that knowledge into one common system afterwards. And that's how a single robot can do all those things at the same time.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm so excited to watch these begin to blossom because it's come so far. And the funny thing about robotics that always amazed me is robotics kind of got here before the AI was ready in some ways, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, robotics has been here for a long time, and even legged robots, not exactly, even humanoids have been here for a very long time. The big challenge was always that the effort behind a demo or even a deployment was huge. It
Yeah.
was many years of many people planning, if it's a walking robot, every step of the robot just to get that specific motion. And this is what AI completely changes. Is we can make these robots adaptable enough such that you don't need to put all those years of effort for each single deployment. So the idea of a general purpose robot becomes possible.
Amazing. And increasingly affordable, I noticed. Like the prices have kind of over the past 2 years steadily dropped. Like there are options that are I mean not I'm not going to say affordable to everyone, obviously, but by comparison to what an automobile costs are quite affordable.
Yeah, absolutely. It went from hundreds of thousands of dollars to a few $1,000s now.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is coming from hardware built in China. But they're
Yeah.
amazing at scaling things up and making it cheaper.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I assume, a gajillion servo motors.
Right. I mean, the robots you'll see later, without the hands, I think they have 29 motors each.
Wow. That
And
is
some
awesome.
have more. And if you add hands, each hand might have 20 more. So the whole thing has a lot of motors, a lot of everything. Each
How do you
single component.
coordinate them? How do you to me there's definitely a maybe not even a software engineering trick there, maybe a normal engineering trick there or something that makes those all work, in unison together and understand as a unit.
There's a lot of code that is not AI, which is like literally sending commands to these motors, getting all the information back, synced. You cannot, if you miss one, you're in trouble. So you have to make sure that this works well. So this is the more classical engineering aspect. And then we have a lot of AI on top to actually make them do something together that is useful for the whole robot. And that's for us, that's reinforcement learning. It's too hard for a human to tell how each motor should move. So we let robots learn on their own.
That's
I
so
think
cool.
one of the things that's really fascinating to me is that when you look at, a robot operating with AI, you're looking at a robot touching many types of engineering. I mean, there's your traditional physical engineering, there's software engineering, there's AI engineering, there's a lot of things that go into one. Any idea how many parts exist inside one?
How many parts? I have
That
no
may
idea,
be
but
a
it's
silly
a lot.
It's a
No, but
lot.
it's a good question. I'll look it up. I don't have the number right now, but it's thousands of parts from mechanical to electrical to software engineering, with all the firmware and everything in between, and everything has to go right. The key aspect of robotics is that you have to be good at everything.
Yeah.
And this is where the statement that is on our blog post comes from. The hard part of robotics is robotics.
Yeah,
It's
I've
not
heard
a
that.
single thing. It's like the whole thing has to work
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Well, how does that work? And we'll get to the demo here in just a minute. How does that work? Because a lot of times you are building the software component or a component of the brain, and you're working with perhaps different types of robots with different bodies. How do you find that? Is that difficult, or how do you navigate that dynamic?
It is a challenge, so we're making it more difficult for ourselves in a way. At least to get to the first demo, it's easier to work on one specific type of hardware.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing right now in the world, that there are so many different companies building different types of robots. So we're talking about humanoids now, but we're talking about humanoids in a large sense. It can be arms on wheels, or something like a torso on wheels, or even once you have actual humanoids on legs, you have many different types: larger, smaller, stronger, weaker, faster, anything.
Right.
And for each robot and each actual application, you would kind of have to rebuild the exact same intelligence layer all over again. So instead, we want to be the platform that allows us to power all of these robots across all these different tasks. It's harder at the beginning, but in our opinion, that's the thing that will scale the fastest.
Yeah, it'll scale better. That makes perfect sense.
I have kind of a two-part, very short question I'd like to ask. It may not be that short. What inspired you to get into robotics? And the second half of that is, do you have a favorite pop culture robot? And forgive me if that's a corny question.
What inspired me to get into robotics? I think I really wanted to have a real proof point of that the technology and research that I was exploring actually makes sense and actually works. And once you have an actual physical robot walking in front of you, that's the perfect proof point. I always liked, when I was younger, I always liked physics, maybe even more than engineering at some point. But modern physics seems too remote to our actual everyday life. If you go into study fundamental systems, fundamental particles, or cosmology, it's very hard to get that proof point that what you've discovered actually makes sense.
Right.
And engineering is obviously the opposite. Is you're engineering a system that actually has to work at the end of the day. And I think I had kind of the same problem with the AI in a way, that it seemed a bit too virtual, at least a few years ago, before all the LLMs. And robotics always seemed to be the perfect use case for all of that, because either your robot walks or it fails.
Either it moves or it doesn't. Yeah. And there you are.
Exactly. And we'll see just in a few seconds. Either it walks up the stairs or it falls.
Yeah, that's kind of a good transition. If we want
That is
to get
a
into
good
it.
transition. How about is your crew ready to swap us over to the demo?
Let's try it. Are you ready over there? Yeah, I think they need maybe just 1 minute, but just feel free to come in whenever you're ready.
Sounds
Cool.
good. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll as soon as they're ready to go, we'll swap.
Do you
over.
have a favorite pop culture robot while they're getting ready?
Right. It's a good question.
Was there one that like was always like, I wish I had one of these. This is so cool. Or
I would probably go with C3PO.
that's a good
yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Such a good choice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although I feel like R2D2 would perhaps be more useful.
Oh,
R2D2
Yeah,
may
you're
very
right.
well be the practical choice.
Yeah.
I was hesitating between the two. Since we're talking about humanoids, I went with C3PO, but
Yeah.
R2D2 makes more sense, actually. You're right.
I think they should come as a pair, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, because they have different strengths, right? They're like
Yeah.
different AI models today. It's like you'd plug one into this use case and one into that use case.
They do. I want R2 to go work on things for me, and I want C3PO to watch a movie with me. Oh
Yeah,
my
again,
god!
coming back to different robots, different morphologies, but powered by the same system.
Yeah. I guess
Flexion,
that's a
perhaps.
thing somewhere in our future. I have zero doubt that as this becomes more commonplace, Disney will absolutely sell us a $20,000 C3PO to anyone who wants it, or more.
Yeah, I really like that one robot that they keep promoting, the little one with the legs that always is
Oh.
on stage with Jensen
one-
Wong.
The one that was on
Yeah, it's
Jensen
amazing.
last year. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. That
And
thing
that
is
one
so
was
cool.
built and trained in Zurich, so really not far from here.
no kidding.
Ah.
How awesome.
Is there a really good robotics community in Zurich because it's so close to, how do you pronounce it? ETH or ETH?
ETH.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased, but I would say it's the best community in the world.
that's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I love that city. I would move
That's
there if I
amazing.
could.
One of these days we need.
All right.
Are
I
we
have
good?
a robot standing in front of me, so I think we can try to switch to the
Okay.
other camera.
I love it. I love it.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Matter of fact, if it's easier, we could pull down off camera where the robot can be large. Oh, there we go. That works too.
There it is.
Oh my God.
So for context, we're not building. Sorry, I'm getting the echo again.
Oh, it's not coming through if that's helpful.
It's not coming through. Okay, I hear myself talking.
Yeah, and you are
Give me
muted.
1 second.
Forgive us. This is our first time bringing a robot on and having to do it with two cameras as well. So if you're watching, bear with us through the technicals a little bit here as we get things sorted out. But this was one of those we've got to do this things.
So
He is so cool. Check him out.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hear you
Yeah.
loud and clear.
Great. All right. Then I think we're ready to go. So just maybe a quick context. We're not building the robot as a company. So this is a robot from a Chinese company called Unitree. If you see demos of robots online, it's very often this exact robot. We're adding a few things on top. So there is a camera around here that we added, and it has a backpack that has additional sensors and compute. However, the software is fully ours. So we get the robot, we basically wipe whatever they have on it, and we replace everything with our software. Then we can do very similar things with pretty much any robot, where all we need is access to the motors. We need to be able to communicate with the motors and the sensors, and then we take it from there.
Amazing.
So let's see what it can do.
Yeah, let's
walk up the
check
stairs?
him out. Oh, Victory.
Let's see if it comes back down.
Backwards. Oh my God. Oh, I
It's
was
a
nervous.
robot, right? So as long as it remembers what it walked on, it can walk forward, backwards, sideways. Doesn't really matter.
Is the robot itself noisy? Someone's asking, or are they pretty silent?
I don't know if you can hear it, but the fact when it's walking on these wooden stairs, it is pretty loud in here. I don't know if
Yeah.
my AirPods are doing a good job, but noise is a factor, and we're actually training them to walk in a specific way that is not too noisy. Otherwise,
Oh,
also
wow.
we're in a building, on the first floor, and there are multiple robotic companies over here, and you hear robots walking above and below us. And you hear it through the building if you're not careful.
Wow. What about
we
like
also do-
fans and motors? Are those pretty quiet or?
There is a fan, but it's fairly quiet compared, like a small laptop or a desktop, a small desktop computer.
That was amazing. You know, I
Can we
think
just
it's
again?
important to call out the amount of how many amount of human engineering hours across the world that go into the ability of this thing to walk up and down those steps.
Yes, it's a lot. I mean, again, coming back to the mechanical, electrical, all of those types of engineering that have to come together, and then all the AI on top that actually has to control that whole thing to actually make it happen. So now
Wow.
in the second example, we're just telling it pick up the box, and it finds it. It will use its whole body to grab it and walk forward with it. And we have another trick we can do. And okay, how far can you see? Can you see the door, or is it off camera?
We see a hallway.
You don't see the door. Can you maybe just turn the camera a bit?
If it's
little
that
bit.
white thing, we do see the door.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now I
Oh,
see
it
the
may
door.
be
Okay,
that
great.
I don't. Oh, I do now.
No, now we have a door.
There we go. I see a door.
So again, we just tell it go through the door, and it uses its whole body. It uses the camera that was showing you before that is here to detect the door, to understand that it has to push the handle with its hand, and all of that is fully trained in simulation using reinforcement learning. So there was zero real data, zero humans teleoperating robots involved to train that system.
And this isn't a guy with a remote control.
So there is a guy with a remote control. All he does is click one button to say, okay, now go through the door. On top
Okay.
of that, we can very easily replace the guy with the remote control with an LLM. So we're doing
Yeah.
that very active. So an agent that walks around, gets the pictures of the camera. Once the agent sees the door, and today's VLMs are pretty good at that, it can understand that, okay, there is a door, so I need to activate the door opening skill.
Something that jumps out to me that I'd like to ask about is that most of the robot demos I watch, you know, short of Atlas from Boston Dynamics or something, feel really slow when they're doing certain tasks. I'm not getting the really slow vibe from this one.
So a big part of that is actually how it's trained. A lot of other robotic demos or even deployments are trained using human data. And the way it works is before the demo, you have humans wearing a motion capture suit teleoperating a robot in front of them. And humans are fundamentally bad at that because you don't get any feedback. There's a delay. Maybe you're wearing a VR headset, so everything is a bit fuzzy. And that's where a lot of the painfully slow demos come from, because the robots imitate what they were trained on, and what they were trained on is data of very slow motions. Now that we train with reinforcement learning, we actually usually have the opposite problem. If you just tell the robot, do something and figure it out, it will do it extremely quickly. So we usually have to tell it, actually what we meant is do that specific thing, go through the door, but do it slowly and gently, don't go too fast. Then we can kind of get to decide how fast it goes by cranking up or down the penalizations for going too fast. So we can actually make it way faster than what you're seeing here. It looks a bit scarier then.
Yeah, it comes in flailing its arms around. Okay, could we? So we heard that there was a little bit of switching between the full screen. Can we do some of those again with full screen, and we'll be quiet and we'll just let you show it off one more time? Is that okay?
We can maybe do another thing right now, and if you want to, then we can go back to the previous setup again. Do we have
That would be
the
amazing. Yeah, what we didn't realize is, and because it doesn't necessarily show on our end, is that when one of us speaks, we go full screen and it blocks the robot down into the corner, and we're using a newer tool. We haven't seen that before, and I want to make sure that it's definitely visible for everyone.
Makes sense. Let's do the other part, which is actually more about the agent and the robot navigating autonomously, and then if you want, we can go back to the first demo again. So here now we don't have a guy with a remote control anymore. We have a guy with a keyboard, and he'll type something like go to whatever you see in the frame, the ladder, for example. And the robot walked through the office before, so it has in a way a map of the office, so it knows where it saw different objects. And once again, there was no human labeling of anything, so everything is fully automatic. But it has an idea of where different objects are and can walk to them. So I think we can start with the ladder, for example. So now the robot is fully autonomous. There is no joystick control anymore. And so now it found the ladder, and then we can send it somewhere else. So we have those gray boxes on the other side. And just, again, in text, he's writing, okay, go to the gray boxes, and the robot will find a way to go there, hopefully without hitting any obstacles on the way. Exactly. So that's how the agent comes in. We're not 100% ready to show it yet, but very soon we'll be able to combine everything you saw before with the agent. So you can tell it pick up a box while going through a door, and all of these motions can be orchestrated through the agent.
That is so cool.
By the way, I believe once again it was, from what I saw, it was the demo was not on the large screen. It was on the side. I hope people got to see it.
No, it was on the large screen.
It was okay. So maybe I have a different view.
Yeah, Riverside, man. Gotta love this. We can make robots walk and talk, but getting 4 cameras to line up right.
Yeah, I think we're all seeing different views is what was going on there too. And we just switched to this as our live platform last week. And we're still finding our way around a little and stumbling. I appreciate you running through that again, though, so we could make sure people get to see. That was so cool, man.
Thanks.
What an interesting thing to do every day.
Sorry, 1 second.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, you gotta switch the sound back. Well, we got a couple of questions in the chat, which is really...
Okay, I think that I'm back.
Okay, you sound good.
Great. Yeah, I was once again getting that echo. Now we're all set.
Yeah. So we got a couple questions in the chat, but Corey, immediate reactions after seeing that?
My thoughts?
Yeah.
That was so awesome. It's the first time I've seen one that wasn't in on a stage in some place that I'm not. I mean, this is absolutely, I'm not in Zurich, but I am very impressed. And I've seen the Unitree robots, big fan of Rizbot. I'm just amazed at what's possible now compared to what was just a number of years ago, specifically in terms of giving it a brain and teaching it to do tasks on its own. That's so amazing.
And with a little bit of imagination, you can kind of guess where we're going in the next few weeks and months.
Yeah.
So now the robot can pick up an object, can walk across the office, can walk through doors. What we haven't shown, but it can also manipulate the box and can take things in and out of that box.
Oh wow!
So with a bit of, if you extrapolate a little bit, it's fairly easy to imagine how we're gonna go to actual deployments in a warehouse or in a factory or things like that.
And so the benefit of your system is that you can train it once with one of these robots, and then any robot who uses your system can then do the same thing, right?
Okay, so the whole idea is that it should be very easy to switch between robots and between tasks. Typically, it still requires some retraining. The key metric is not if you want to train something or not, is how much human effort is involved in bringing a new robot to a new task. Because we're training everything in simulation and we have pretty good models of all of these different robots, it's very easy to switch one robot for another. If one robot can pick up the task, we can create another simulation with another robot and train it in the exact same way. If you wait a few hours and you have a new robot with, let's say, a new brain, a new specialized brain that can do it as well.
Now, does that
That's awesome.
So does that stand true as far as like models go, or is that at the individual robot level? For example, one of the Unitree models. Once you've trained one of those, will it slap onto any other robots identical to that? So,
Yeah,
like, you might
absolutely.
need the Unitree G1 version of the flexion tool.
Yeah, that's it. So we need to retrain it for different morphologies. If you change the motors, well, it needs to know that now my knees are much stronger than before, so
Yeah,
I can walk in a slightly different way.
I can
But
now
then
through a
all
door.
robots,
Yeah.
exactly. But then all the robots that have similar morphology, you can still change a few things. Like you can add a bit of weight. Our controllers adapt quite well. But if the robot is a different model with a different size, etc., then you need to retrain not the whole system, but just a small part of that system.
Okay.
We were talking before about an agent orchestrating the whole thing. You don't need to retrain that. Right? That agent just tells our controllers to go through the doors. That part is exactly the same, but the actual motion of grabbing the handle and pushing on it will be different if the robot has a different size.
Okay. Am I correct? And I'm going to say something here that might sound dumb, and if it does, pretend it's not for me. Uh, um, it feels like you're past some of the biggest challenges in this. Like you're now at a problem of scaling these simulation rooms to teach new tasks. And is that a correct assessment, or is that off?
I want to say yes. I think honestly there are still many challenges ahead, but the overall system is pretty close to what it will be in
Awesome.
a few years.
That's
we
awesome.
we just need to expand the set of tasks. As for now, we're doing fairly simple manipulations, so grabbing boxes, maybe opening them. If you we're in Switzerland, so if you want a robot that can build a Swiss watch, that will still take a bit more time. As
That
every single component needs to get better
What
to
about
get
a
to that
robot that
part.
can do alpine skiing?
Will probably happen before the Swiss watch.
that's actually really interesting.
Is
That's
there
really
any
interesting.
room for a robot Olympics? Because I've been watching the Olympics in Milan the last couple of weeks. So, what about a robot
Ac-
version?
Actually, it is already a thing in China.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, they did
Happened.
one
It
last
happened a
year.
few
That's
months
right.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
And it
so it will
was it
definitely be
was
a thing.
wonderful and hilarious all at the same time. It was
We got some questions from the chat I don't want to ignore.
yeah,
The
quite a
first
few.
one was, can you comment on the AI ability to learn from cause and effect so that it can cope with new environments?
Cause and effect is a very loaded term.
Okay.
Okay.
It can be a very deep conversation. But I'll focus on the second part. How does it cope with new environments? Specifically, if we train it in simulation. And it is a challenge. Overall, it's a challenge for robotics. How to make these systems adaptable enough to cope with new environments. Maybe I'll take a quick step back and start with the other way. If you have real world data, how do you do that?
Mhm.
The answer is pretty much you have to go and collect data in a ton of different environments. And that's how you make it generalize across different environments, because you just collect data of everything. And
So
for
what does
simulation,
that collecting data look like? For a simulation, is that just like creating a bunch of different versions of the simulation, or is it actually filming environments for new simulations?
so that's a great question. Without simulation, you literally have to go and build different environments. Or I think other companies are renting Airbnbs across San Francisco to have different lighting conditions, etc. In
That's funny.
simulation, you're in control of the simulator, so you have to create different conditions and run them. We're always talking about domain randomization, which means you have one simulator and thousands of robots training in it, and each robot has a slightly different set of conditions. If we're manipulating boxes, well, it's obviously you change the size of the box, you change the background, you add a bunch of objects, you might need to create something that looks kind of like a room. You don't need to go all in, because another thing we can do is only show the right thing to the robots. I always use this example. If you want to train a robot that opens doors, and the naive thing is to try to create photorealistic images in simulation such that it transfers to the real world. But then you would need to create all sorts of doors, like any any material, any handle, everything that exists, all in all lighting conditions, and that's really painful. But one thing you could do is use some of the other computer vision models to segment what you're seeing in real life. For example, there are many models that can segment the doors, and then you, for example, you show it as red to the policy, and then the handle you segment it again, and the handle becomes blue. And then suddenly all doors kind of look the same. They're all red. They all have blue handles. So that's the only thing you need to be able to solve.
Oh, that's complex. Interesting.
Yeah, so
it's not exactly what we're doing, but it's one way
Yeah.
to describe how to bridge this sim to real gap by basically you have to create a common representation that you can simulate fairly well and recreate in real life as well.
So do you see a future where the idea is, I hesitate to say this, not dissimilar to how a Roomba learns a room, like at the time that you would bring this into your company or into your home? I mean, which is still a little ways out. I say that, maybe it's not that far out, but is that an approach that would be the ideal scenario for it to be able to take a walk and look around and kind of learn where the walls are, where the doors are, where everything's sitting? I assume kind of like you mentioned how it did that in the room you're in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's how it would work. So you send the robot, either the robot walks around, or if it's easier, you can just walk around with any iPhone or any camera. Create some version of that map. So that map doesn't need to be super precise. You just need to have a general idea of, if we tell the robot go to the kitchen, well, it doesn't make sense for it to every single time relearn or walk randomly until it finds a kitchen. If you know where the kitchen is, well, just go to the kitchen.
Some kind of a virtual blueprint of your facility would probably be wonderful to have inside it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the robot itself, we already know how to interact with a lot of different objects. We won't need to train it, or we are not training it to pick up every single object you could find in a kitchen. You just need to make it general enough that it can pick them up. And then once again, that's where the agents come in. Another example that I like to use is if you want to train a robot to cook a specific recipe. You don't want to collect data of every single recipe that exists in the world. That doesn't make sense. However, what you can do is give that recipe to Gemini or GPT-5, whichever number, some LLM, and break it down into specific subtasks. And then each subtask will be, well, grab the knife and cut that thing, or pour that into the pan, or stir the pan, or something like that.
Yeah.
Which are all separate skills that will be trained, and the robot can execute them.
Okay, I have a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was just going to say that the whole idea is to combine the general understanding of the world from VLMs with specific physical skills that the robot can do.
So which part of that equation, whether it's you at Flexion or the LLMs, is going to be actually handling the memory, whatever memory that a robot has to have, like of a space? So like it comes in, it learns the space. How does it keep that latent, and how does it like keep that in its context? Is that from the LLM side, or what you're doing?
That's a super interesting question, and there are many levels of memory.
Mm-hmm.
So even when the robot picks up the box, or let's use the example of the door, at the last second when it's pushing on the handle, it doesn't see the handle because the camera is kind of blocked by the door.
Right.
So it needs to remember that it saw the handle at that location. So there you need a few seconds of memory, and that's handled by our controller. But again, just even to know that you have to cross the door to reach whatever is behind, that's a whole other level of memory, and that's maybe based on a map or a much longer term memory that would come from an agent.
Okay.
Do you think that's something that would be happening on the LLM level then, probably, or perhaps another system?
Like there are kind of two ways to approach it now. The most pragmatic way to do it now is to give some specific tools to those LLMs, and the LLM can query. For example, we have a 3D printer behind the door. So if the task is to go to the 3D printer, the LLM can query the map and ask the map, where did you see a 3D printer? And the map will respond. The more end-to-end way to do that is to have a huge context in the LLM. So you feed the whole video of the robot walking around, and then the LLM has to figure it out on its own. We're not quite there yet in terms of being efficiently using that context.
Memory will do a lot for that, I imagine, over time, as far as where that could go. We have a really good question from the chat as well. How long does the battery last, and how? And I realize that this is not your robot,
more on
this is
Unitree
your
than you
attachment,
guys, yeah.
but I would say on both for that matter? And is there a future where it can hot swap like a DeWalt
Absolutely.
drill or something?
Oh, absolutely. So the battery on that specific robot can last, I think, about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Unless it's doing backflips, and I think it goes down a bit faster. But walking around an hour and a half. Other robots have larger batteries, something like 4 to 5 hours is achievable. And then hot swapping is definitely a great idea. That specific robot cannot do it, others can. So quite a lot of them have 2 batteries, and you can hot swap when you remove one, replace it, and then remove the other.
I was just thinking
Again, this
that
is where
made a
it
lot of
helps.
sense to be able to have it be like, oh, I'm about dead. And or not, I guess dead feels sad right now with the nice robot.
I'm tired.
I'm tired. Yeah, I'm sleepy. I better go get a new battery. And yeah, and I also want that feature for myself. Oh my gosh.
What about so there was another question. How does the robot know what to do? Are you giving it commands? You kind of talked about that. So what you were doing during the demo is you were giving it essentially like typed commands or a button, like a pre-programmed button, which the agent could then do, like in the situation where the LLM is hooked up to it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Either we specifically trigger a skill if we want to show it live on camera, or we go through the agent and the agent understands the context and does the same thing.
Yeah. Would you imagine then a robot in production having like call it a menu of skills or like a library of skills that it would be calling and using, or would it be more on the fly kind of deciding?
It's a great question. It depends a little bit on the actual application. In general, whenever you have a specific menu of skills, and you can only switch between them and you cannot interpolate at all, you might find a situation where it's limiting.
Right.
However, having said that, if you're on a production line and you're doing the same motion the whole day, you don't necessarily need a crazy adaptable system. Now, what's interesting is even if the robot is doing one single motion, and you can remove the whole agent thing, all of that, training that motion is still easier if you already have a platform that can do a lot of different things, because you're kind of just fine-tuning it for that specific motion. Whereas if you're designing a whole system just to solve that specific motion, it will be much more inefficient. It will take way longer to achieve the same level of performance.
Interesting.
Wait, why is that? That's so interesting. Yeah.
In a way, because you're starting from scratch. It's like, now we have so many LLM wrappers applied for different use cases. Let's say if you want to solve translation, well, now it's very easy because you already have an LLM that is very good at it. And if you start from scratch, well, you have to design a whole new system for translation. And you probably wouldn't come up with an LLM that can code as well, because it doesn't make sense to do that.
Yeah.
So the exact same thing applies to robotics.
Okay.
It's easier to start with it from a general system and then make it fine-tune it for a specific use case.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Then to start from zero for a specific use case. Okay. That makes sense. I know NVIDIA, and I'm not, if I tap on anything here that's a little proprietary or something, please feel free to say so, has released a pretty large mountain of robotics data sets and models and things. And it seems like I continue seeing more and more robotics focused models, research around robotics and AI. And it makes me wonder, like, how do you decide what are we going to use for this? You don't have to say what you use, but I mean, like, I feel like trying to figure out where the starting point is, and are we fine tuning a model? Are we building a model? I feel like there are a lot of decisions to make there.
You're right, and it's actually pretty hard to keep up with every hardware or software development happening in robotics. I think every single day, my X or LinkedIn feeds are full of different demos from all over the world of robots doing cool things.
Yeah.
I think the key is to be adaptable enough to be able to quickly incorporate. When someone shows that a new tool is very useful for a specific thing, we want to be able to incorporate the specific tricks and techniques that they use.
Okay.
So it's very hard. I'm not in favor of saying our bet is that specific thing will solve everything, because then you kind of ignore what everyone else is doing. Yeah. You have to have a bet. You have to push for a certain direction, but you also need to be flexible enough to quickly adapt once someone shows that something else works as well.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's even a good approach to just AI usage in general for people. Grant and I have talked about it before that, some tools are better at certain things and that changes every day. Like, if what you need is the best of the best right this instant, you need to be prepared to move around a little.
Yeah, that's a great metaphor. I think that's right.
Do you have a particular model or type of model that you use on the LLM side, or that you think is the best for working with robots, or is it just whenever the best new thing comes out, you switch to that and test it, or are you testing all of them?
It's an interesting question. So we switch. So also there are two ways we use LLMs.
Okay.
One is really for this high-level agent. We're usually talking about three layers. The first one is the agent, the one we call the command layer. So it goes pretty much from text to text. It's really what VLMs are really good at.
Mm-hmm.
And the second part is we reuse pieces of an LLM and create what we call a VLA. So it's a vision language action model. So
Yeah.
And that one outputs specific commands to the robots. It's not going to text anymore, and it really has to be trained on robot data. Both of them reuse pre-trained models. In the VLA case, you use the vision encoder is pre-trained, the language encoder is pre-trained, and the action part today also can be pre-trained from models released by NVIDIA or others, or you can also train it from scratch. The VLM part, we start from open source models, and then we fine-tune them to make them better at understanding what robots can or cannot do.
That's cool.
What's your compute bill look like? I'm so sorry. Oh, it's got to be massive.
Honestly, it's surprisingly low.
Oh,
Wow.
that's good.
Mostly because we're training things in simulation, which is, again, surprisingly effective. So we can simulate thousands of robots on one single GPU. If just
Wow.
with just a few GPUs, we can actually do a lot.
Is there any sort of scaling law with what you're doing with simulation, where like if you expand that to like 100 GPUs, like you'll be able to do this way faster, or you'll be able to unlock something different, or does it not work that way?
It's interestingly enough, that's something I explored in the very first paper of my PhD, which was a very long time ago. I think
Cool.
I didn't call it scaling laws back then. I'm not sure it was a thing. I should have.
Certainly not a common phrase like
You could have coined it, yeah.
And the reality was that it stopped scaling at some point. So just throwing more data at these reinforcement learning algorithms doesn't make them train faster. Because the problem is that there is an aspect of it which is exploration. So you need to try something, get some data, and then update your model, and then try something new again. And if you just throw more data without having this update step, it doesn't help, because it's just more of the same. You really need to have this iterative loop. It's what we call an on-policy algorithm, which means that the data has to come from the current state of the model. You cannot reuse huge data sets from before.
That's really fascinating. Is that's unique to like vision language action models, or robots in general? Like,
That's very specific to reinforcement learnings,
Okay.
not necessarily to VLAs, but to reinforcement learning. But it's one way to do reinforcement learning. There are also other ways. This one seems to be the most efficient, at least for robotics.
got it.
When doing simulations, I'm curious, is the actual figuring out of how to do it in a simulation phase quick, and then there's a ton of like kind of committing it to memory and getting good at it that takes longer? What end is more difficult? Is it figuring out the task, or is it getting consistently good at it?
One challenge specifically with reinforcement learning, and it's not specific to simulation, but I guess it's a reinforcement learning thing. It's not necessarily hard to find a way to solve the task, but sometimes that's not really the way we meant. Again, there are many ways for a robot to open a door. As it can push the handle.
It does it with its foot.
Any part of its body.
You don't want it carrying a coffee mug with one finger through the hole, for example. Yeah.
I'm just imagining the goofiest scenarios, like opening the door with the foot, or yeah, like like using its head to do something. It's like, no, that means yes, that's effective, but that's not what we wanted.
That is an option. It's just not the proper option.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so a key thing is how to steer it towards the right solution. And that's actually where a few human demonstrations can come in. So if you have a video of a human going through a door, you can reuse that to, not to tell the robot exactly how to do it, but just to steer it in the right direction. So don't use your feet. Your hands are good at opening doors.
That's so
Yeah.
amazing. I never thought of that.
I remember when I was writing a newsletter that was all about like the business news that will impact the future 5 years from now, like back in 2022. There was a paper that came out of ETH that was all about how like, hey, you could just like show robots videos of people doing things, and then it can learn from those. Um, is that still true in terms of the simulation that you're doing, or is the simulation more like the data that you produce from simulation more in depth than just videos?
It's definitely more depth. So one thing that's missing in videos is you won't get to send commands to the motors. You have no idea what to do with the motors of a robot to actually achieve the motions that a human does. This is the easiest thing to understand. It goes a bit deeper because the robot doesn't move in the exact same way a human can. If the robot could replicate all the motions of a human, that would be much simpler. But we have to do a lot of tricks and be smart about how we actually use the motions of humans. To then, there's a concept called retargeting. That's one way to do it. So you take the motion of a human and you retarget it to the motion of a robot.
So it'd
For
be
example,
like
when-
almost like translating it into what the robot could do. Is that kind of cool?
That's so there are kind of, let's say, two steps. First, you translate the motion itself to what the robot could do. We're talking about kinematic motions. So you have no concept of forces in the motors, etc. And then you actually train a reinforcement learning policy to execute that specific motion, and it learns how to control the motors to do it. So there are still a few steps you need to take to use human videos.
Okay.
Another great way to use human videos is not going into the control of the robot, but again towards the agent.
So
Okay.
like
Because
just
I-
training the agent to be better at inferring, I guess.
Exactly, to understand how to break down a task into clear subtasks. And then there, if you do it right, it's much easier to translate between humans and robots because, again, outputting open the door doesn't matter if it's a human or robot, as long as both understand the same language, both of them, it translates from one to another.
Okay. Here's a question I'm just curious of. Is there a task that was harder than you thought it should have been, and one that was easier than you expected it to be?
I won't answer exactly your question, but I think it's still an interesting thought. It seemed like the motor control, so bending over, grabbing things from the ground, or walking on stairs, things like that, should be easy because they're fairly easy for humans. And doing long-term planning and understanding that you have to go through doors and you have to all these different sequences of things, that seemed, or I would have expected that to be hard, but the exact opposite is true.
Oh, wow.
Our current VLMs have pretty much solved the agent and the reasoning part. Not exactly. We still need to fine-tune them to really make them work reliably, but it's really, really close. However,
But the
motor
groundwork
control,
is there already. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Okay.
And you can really change the prompt, and the exact same. The robot does something else in a new environment. So the generalization part is kind of there for that. The motor control is still challenging.
That's fair.
Okay, we got a really specific, interesting question. You can take it any direction you like. What about a virus in AI models? How would that play out in a robot scenario, and how would you, I guess, protect against that? I don't know if that's a real scenario, but but this person really wants to know.
Be. Security is a very big deal once you have many robots out there. And, it's something that has to be taken very seriously. The honest answer is we're not exactly there yet, that this is the bottleneck that we need to solve right now, but it can very quickly become one.
Yeah, probably more so once it's in production and, you know, threat actors know, like, hey, like a big surface to attack is like this, you know, BMW plant where they have, you know, hundreds of thousands of robots working or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's an underlying question there is, are these robots connected to the internet or not?
What's your
That's
take?
a big
Do
one.
they need
It's
to
a
be?
big challenge. Everything would be so much easier if they were connected to internet, because then we can use much larger models, run somewhere in the cloud. We're not limited in compute, etc.
Yeah.
But typically in industry, they cannot for security reasons.
Yeah.
So we need to find ways to still run large enough models that cannot fit on the robot itself. For example, somewhere in the facility, but not in the cloud.
Okay.
So
there are
what's
also
the
all these
bottleneck?
challenges.
What's the bottleneck there for edge computing? Do you think, like, or I guess the stronger bottleneck, because these could both be bottlenecks. Is it the hardware that can run on device, or is it the model that can run on device?
Well, I guess both, because the hardware that runs on the device is not strong enough to run the models that we would like to run on the device.
Yeah.
And that's
So
another
they both
reason
have
why
to-
we're split.
Sorry.
Yeah, they both have to work together, and that's the reason why we are splitting our whole system into at least 3 layers. It's because it's 3 neural networks of different sizes that also run at different frequencies. The part that
interesting.
controls the motors has to run very quickly and really on board on the robot, because the latency will just make the robot fall. Same for the VLA, it has to run on board, but it can be slower, so the compute can take a bit more time. And then the agent part typically is really too big to run on the robot, but it's also not a problem because we only need a response once every few seconds, for example. So that it's fine if you have to send a request and get the response back.
But I guess
Is there-
technically it wouldn't be fine if you couldn't connect it to the internet.
Well, you need a server rack somewhere in your factory that can run those models.
Oh, okay. So you could do it over like a LAN or something.
You can have Wi-Fi internally in the facility, but it's not connected to the outside world.
Got it. Got it.
Is it specifically beneficial that it would be the internet at large, or is it possible to have some kind of a, I don't know, a gateway to a private network or something, or a, kind of maybe it's child safe controls, as silly as that sounds. Maybe it's the answer of like, here, you get the youth browser. With all of the safety protections and the other things that
Instagram teen accounts.
yeah, you get an Instagram teen account. Yeah.
I'll try to sell that to our clients.
There we
Don't
go.
worry about security. We're using a child safe system.
That's right. They
Yeah.
can watch Netflix.
But that's kind of
only
like what you were
PG-13
describing,
movie.
right? Is that you'd have like an on-prem sort of like, not internet, but a like personal net essentially.
Yeah, I think all of these are options. Either onboard compute just gets so good that it's really onboard the robot. I think that will take a long time. Or it's
Yeah.
on-prem, or it's maybe the building next door, but it's a larger compute center. So all of it is possible.
Before we let you go, I have a question I have to ask, and it's just sheer curiosity because I enjoy asking people this. What's your robots in homes, robots broadly available in businesses timeline? If you just had to guess based on what you know, what you see, the companies that are working on things.
It's a very common debate right now is, are we going to get robots in homes or in industry first? People disagree. I'm in the industry first camp. And also I think industry matches better, is a good match for the kind of technology we're developing with simulation, where we can still create specific simulation for a specific production line. So it's not completely zero shot. It takes a little bit of effort, but not years. It's maybe a few days for an engineer.
Yeah.
And then we can deploy 100 robots doing that task. It's worth doing it. Well, in a home, you cannot send an engineer to every single home you're going to send a robot to.
Yeah.
So I think industry will happen first. And people like to ask about when is the ChatGPT moment of robotics. I think unfortunately it won't be one single moment. I think the most obvious reason why is because you need to build those robots and it will take time. It's not software that you can just copy paste across everything. But even software will take a little bit more time to adapt to all those different tasks, different factories, different warehouses, etc. So I think we'll start seeing robots deployed between the end of this year and beginning of next year.
Okay.
But you'll have to go look for them. It's not like you'll see them everywhere around you.
Yeah.
And then it will progressively expand. I think it will expand very quickly. But you'll progressively see them more and more.
We see these little, I don't know that they're actually robots. They're definitely not humanoid robots, but these things in stores that are like, now my grocery store has this 6-foot tall skinny bar on wheels that walks around and it'll talk to you, but it's scanning and doing inventory throughout the store as it goes through. It'll say, excuse me, stuff like that. And our gas station, Quick Trip down the road, has this one that is constantly walking around cleaning the floor and saying, "Excuse me, I'm cleaning the floor," and he's got eyes that blink, and and I think those are the first. While that is very different from this, those are the first like out in my normal path of life going places I've seen these things, and I always think, I guess this is the very very rudimentary beginning of what's to come.
Yeah, I think that's right. So next step, you'll see the same robot in different places doing different tasks. You're like, oh, actually, I've seen that exact robot doing something else in
Yeah.
in the store or the gas station, and then it will expand. Then it will be completely normal to have multiple robots walking around doing all sorts of things.
Okay.
It will be strange once you'll see a human doing a very manual and labor-intensive task.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many branching paths from there I can think of. But one reaction to what you said, it's almost like the ChatGPT moment for robots. Maybe it won't be a ChatGPT moment. Maybe it'll be more like the iPhone, where Steve Jobs came out and showed the iPhone, and you're like, oh wow, this is really cool. But you didn't even realize what all that meant, like with the App Store and all this other stuff, until a couple years later, and you see how actually revolutionary it is. Perhaps robots go the same way.
And I think that's a great example, and not just the iPhone, but the whole Android ecosystem as well. A few years after the iPhone revealing, you have all these different phones, all these different devices that can do way more than just the iPhone itself.
Yeah, we're kind of still at the point where we're seeing them in demos at special shows, but there's yet to be the person who walked on stage and says, "It's right here. It's $8,000. You can order it at apple.com. Go get one." We haven't hit that thing yet, and I think that's really exciting and curious. And I tend to agree that you're right about industry too, because the truth is, early on, the earlier you buy, the more you're going to pay, honestly, for probably less technology, as is the way that most tech works. Is that, like, if you bought a laptop in the 1980s, you paid $5,000 for 1 gig of RAM. I mean, excuse me, 1 mega kilobytes of RAM.
It's gonna be that way with the hard
Megabytes of
drives.
hard drive.
With the way memory is going right now. I have one more question, but then we're going to drop here right at the hour mark, so I want to make sure we sign off, and you can let people know where to go to check out Flexion. Are you bullish on the idea of a AI like post abundance, like an abundance utopia with robots, like where we're not working or the robots are doing most of our work, or do you think that that's perhaps far away?
I think it is pretty far away. I cannot give you a number of years because, again, it will be progressive.
Yeah.
Say 50 years from now, probably we're there. It's going to be much shorter than 50. But I don't know if what we'll have in 10 years will qualify as a robot utopia or not.
As long as Earth doesn't look like Tatooine by then, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. At least Zurich won't look like Tatooine.
That's right. Zurich's too pretty.
Right.
It's too pretty.
Well, Nikita, where can people go to learn more about what you're doing at Flexion?
So we're not super active, but we're publishing updates on X and LinkedIn, and we have our website, flexion.ai. So that's the best way to follow what we're doing.
Go watch their demos. Absolutely watch their demos. There are like 2 right now, and they're both really, really good. And I had good intentions of showing them while we were on here, and I completely forgot earlier. But we'll absolutely
well, we showed a
share
live
links
demo,
with
so that's
this.
better.
That's better.
That is,
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
got a live demo, which is way cooler. But watch
And
those
there'll be more
2.
coming soon.
Excellent.
More demos coming soon.
Nikita, thank you so very much. And hopefully we'll do this again sometime down the road and have some other cool stuff to see.
Thank you so much. This was really exciting. I'm glad we got to do the demo live.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that's
Me too. Me too. We didn't know if it would happen. Well, have a great day. We really appreciate you coming, and we'll be following.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right. That was so cool. Rant.
I believe we're still live.
That's okay. I don't care.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm glad we are because now I want to talk about it with you because that was neat.
There were a couple of questions that I wanted to hit at the end, but I wanted to respect his time. But one of the things I was wondering is like how, if at all, the current like memory crisis will impact robotics. Like how what's going on right now is essentially that the price of RAM and HDDs and now CPUs, like all of
Yeah.
that is going like basically the supply of all of those things is drying up, and therefore the prices will increase. I wonder how that's going to impact robotic development.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I wanted to ask more about how their like backpack system works, which I think is really cool. Um,
We're going to
uh,
have robots running on 80,000 1 megabyte RAM chips left over from 1993. That's what we're going
yeah.
to
Look, I mean, in theory, if you have an efficient enough algorithm, it should be able to run it, right? So,
That's what I need. I need a
challenge
rig in the
on.
house with all of the 1 megabyte RAM chips that exist. We'll buy a gajillion of them.
Yeah.
How cool.
If you buy Richard Sutton's argument with the bitter lesson, which is that an efficient algorithm will just scale perfectly with
Yeah.
compute, then like that we don't have the current LLMs are not that, so perhaps that was something that could run on that type of system.
A thing that was interesting about the virus question for me, and that I was going to call out and forgot, is that you watch these videos and they look like these friendly little robots running around, but I mean, like, it's important to know that these things are made of steel. If you've ever watched a clip like on Instagram where one has a glitch and starts spinning around and kicking and flailing at everything, like, you don't want to be anywhere near that. Like, it's gonna break bones.
Yeah, no, those things that is very scary, which is why the work that what Nikita is doing is really really important, to be able to train these things so that they're safe in
Yeah,
environments. Um,
exactly.
yeah, that was an interesting answer too about like, oh yeah, you could just have like a local internet, that it runs on that's like safer, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. I forget you could do that.
yeah, that's the thing, I guess, huh? Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I thought the whole kids internet thing was, I
that's
mean,
funny.
you can gate it off a bit. I mean, the truth is,
We're almost at the
where
point where
there's
we
a
need that
will,
with
there's a way. Though the
yeah.
fact of the matter is, and there will always be bad actors. Like, that's not a thing that's gonna go away anywhere in the near future. I wouldn't think.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the kid solution actually makes more sense in the near term for like agents. Like we should perhaps
Yeah,
give all these agents like a agent specific, like like
that's what I need to do with my open
account
claw.
type, they need to be like okay, don't take this the wrong way, but like second class like citizens on the internet or something like that, where basically like we have them like if they're gonna be on the internet, they need to identify themselves and they need to have their own sort of like protocols and like
Yeah.
you know
I would love that because I waste
accounts
an
basically.
awful lot of tokens downloading bloated HTML and ad graphics to run up as tokens. I
Yeah.
would I would much rather have a really a simple approach to that.
Well,
By the way,
WebMCP is Google's solution to that, right? Like what they're doing with WebMCP.
do you know what happened? Remember me a week or so ago talking about the situation where my wife starts texting me and wants to know why the computer's talking. And I go
Yep.
down and I couldn't find the browser.
Hmm.
Well, I get off work day before yesterday, and I go downstairs to my desktop where my open claw little multi buddy lives,
Hmm.
and I open it, and it's running the Brave browser actively, and it has more than 50 tabs open, half of them Reddit.
It's learning.
The other half of them, a half of what's left was YouTube.
For people who don't know, OpenClaw is the agent that you basically give all of your permission and connections to, and you just let it like live on your computer, and it has a heartbeat and it can act on your behalf. So what Corey is saying is that this OpenClaw agent was just opening Reddit tabs and reading them, like
Yeah,
just for
I
funsies.
swear to you, I came down and it was open, and the bar was so tightly packed with tabs across my 19-inch monitor down there, which is my little monitor from my easy chair, and
Nice.
uh that you couldn't read a letter on any of them. It was just corners of tabs all the way across my screen, and I was
Sounds
like,
like me when
oh,
I'm looking at the news for the day.
yeah. And then I go and I look at the tokens for the day, and I realize it's mowed through I don't know, some obscene number of, 20 million or so, something like that. And it's just like, oh my God.
Wow.
So, yeah, I did a lot of neat stuff to fix that last night, but I don't want to hijack the robot talk. So,
Yeah,
uh,
no, that's fine.
unless somebody asks, if someone's interested, I'll get into what I did.
Yeah.
But
Well, we can definitely get into that. Well,
we're
yeah, I
always
guess
down to gab about whatever.
do you have any other reactions to the chat? The other thing I wanted to ask him that we didn't have time for was, he mentioned humanoids, or you mentioned the scenario where we're seeing like the more robotic looking robots,
Yeah,
walking around. I was gonna ask him what his timeline is for when we'll see like kind of more human looking robots walking around, where it's
yeah.
like almost like Westworld, where you almost can't tell the difference between a human
Like
robot
where
and
you go to a ball game and there's a non-zero number of them in the
the guy
crowd,
just like looks at you.
or just
Isn't
like
this fun?
roaming around doing service work.
Oh yeah, that's more practical. I was
Yeah,
imagining you're in the
the more
stands
practical
at a
approach is that
ball
it's
game.
rolling hot dogs, not that it's watching baseball.
No, I was just imagining there's just a robot sitting next to you and it's watching the game with you, and you're like, I don't know if this guy's real or not.
You bite a beer.
It's like dead internet theory, but in real life.
The practical approach is that the second Major League Baseball can put one on a pitcher's mound, they'll be
Oh
down.
yeah. Well, he mentioned the
And
robot Olympics,
honestly,
and
robot baseball, robot sports would be so sick. Will be so sick.
okay. So
Not
first of
even
all, there is a robot Olympics. I forgot about that. That China did one.
there's a Fight
Second,
Club.
there's robot boxing in San Francisco. Have you seen this?
Speaking of which, when we are in town in a few weeks, we need to find out about robot boxing, robot fight club, the things like that. Because I say that I don't know the robot fight club stuff I've seen. I know this is going to sound bizarre. Left me feeling a little guilty.
Well, let me show you some pretty wild stuff. Hold on.
Uh oh.
Um,
Now it's going to get real.
yeah. Okay,
One
Ika.
second here. I'm going to come off camera so I can cough like a
Yeah.
monster.
Ika, I promised you that we were probably only be an hour, so if you want to drop off here, you're totally welcome to.
Totally cool. We get it.
Okay,
We
so
will talk.
Robot Fight Club. Let me see if I can find footage of this. Robot Fight Club. Okay, they've got one in Austin too. So these are two of the Unitree robots that we saw earlier boxing each other.
Which one is it? Oh, now the round is about to end in 10, 9, 8,
They don't even look like they can knock each other over.
5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
So that one leaves a little bit to be desired.
They're not all comically bad either.
No.
Like on
What is the
occasion they'll
one?
be rough.
Let's see.
And I don't know what it is because I don't have any guilt with BattleBots. In fact, the only emotion I have with BattleBots is that I want a BattleBot.
But why do you feel guilty if it's two humanoid robots fighting versus two little car
You know what it
robots?
is? I look at their motion and it's a little like we're watching Toddler Fight Club or something, and
Oh,
humans are so
okay.
excited about it. There's something very dystopian about humans watching another, I'm going to say species because I don't have a better word for it, kind
Yeah,
of
that's
brutalize
fine.
each other.
Well, it's like the classic thing where if there's if you're on a street corner with looking across and there's four different corners, and on one corner someone's playing soccer, and on another someone's playing basketball, and on another someone's playing baseball, and on the fourth one there's a fight. Which one are you gonna watch?
Yeah.
You're gonna watch. Your attention's
You're
gonna
going to
go to
watch
the
the
corner
fight.
with the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
nothing says human more than loving a good train wreck.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
other thing is, I think we need to acknowledge how much Unitree is winning in the robotics field right now from a consumer perspective.
Well, yeah,
I
they
mean,
have a affordable robot that anyone can
and
use.
another company released one this week for $79.99, and I have it in a chat. I'll find it. I'm looking in Slack. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
Where is the $8,000 robot?
An actual fighting tournament. Ooh, this is cool.
I believe it came from our cybersecurity guru, Ken Underhill, but it might not have been. No, it was in Daily Tech Insider. one of our sister newsletters. Hang on just 1 minute. That's where it was. Daily Tech Insider. Which, if you're looking for just general tech news every day with a little bit of a Neuron spin, you should absolutely check out DTI. It's a fun newsletter. It's run by Justin Myers. Justin is a wonderful human, just a genuinely good dude. He's a hard worker and he takes everything he works on very personal. And oh heck no!
He's fighting two at once. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. Oh, you see how the ref like had to get out of the way there because that would have
Yeah.
hurt.
Have you ever seen the one where people are like, there's like robots in the ring, and there's a guy in there trying to ref him, and he's working with one of the robots, and this other one is walking around behind him like this, and occasionally walks up and like kicks him in the thigh, and he shoves it away.
No, no. I missed that.
Look up Weave Robotics, $8,000. This is the one that Justin shared out today.
This guy?
It's stationary, but it's a laundry folding monster.
Let's see it.
It's $79.99, probably 99.
I know why you like this because the face kind of looks like Johnny.
It's
Five.
got a Johnny Five vibe, doesn't it? It's got Johnny Five hands. I really, really love it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna read what Justin has here. Weave's 8,000 liter laundry robot still needs humans. Alexa can set a timer, but Isaac Zero might need to phone a friend. Weave Robotics has started shipping Isaac Zero, a $7,999 stationary robot that promises to fold your laundry while you binge your latest soap opera. Drop a load of shirts, hoodies, pants, or towels into the Bay Area only machine, and 30 to 90 minutes later, you usually find tidy stacks waiting for you.
Wow. Have you seen Physical Intelligence?
Maybe. I know the name. I was exposed to a bunch of these physical AI companies at AWS because it was kind of a sizable focus. They had a lot around agriculture and stuff. Like I played with Agen, which was really cool. AIGEN is the name of the company. I always pronounce it wrong. A guy named Kenny runs it, developed it. Really, really cool guy.
These guys are cool, like, but they have this weird little robot that's like almost like a little crab dude. You see this? He's got these antennas, but he can do a lot. He can do quite a lot.
I'll be honest, that's perfectly acceptable for the various tasks I would love to. I mean, I don't guess I need someone peeling my oranges for me, but I'd definitely have him make me a peanut butter sandwich. Can it flip a grilled cheese?
Oh, wow. Like, that's so, like, this is so cool.
That's my other theory on robotics is if people are so scared of some Terminator possibility, is really the first thing we should do drag them into our homes and make them do our tasks? Like, that's not a thing that ages well for any level of society in the past when we've done it.
To the point about security, right? Like, what if you had a robot like this in your house and it wasn't secured on your local network, and instead it was, connected to the internet, or worse, OpenClaw, and anyone could message you on Discord and like hack your robot?
That's what I need. I need a robot that my OpenClaw can direct. So no matter where I am, if we're away from home for the day, I can be like, hook up Penny, take her outside.
Yeah.
I'm not home and I want to make sure she gets to go, or turn on the television for her. Give her some puppies to watch.
I actually think so. So for people who don't know, alignment is one of those things where basically we're talking about how to get the robot to make sure the robot is like good, like basically like that keeps humans. That's basically it's safe. Like it operates safely. It doesn't operate where it wants to harm humans. How do you make sure that it stays on policy? All of those different things. I actually think alignment could potentially be an easier thing to solve for. The security issue, I think, is actually harder because you have to come up with new, novel ways of like securing things that are devices that are talking to each other. This is, by the way, this is the Robot Olympics in Beijing from last year. So like, here's some boxing.
I love it. Oh, wait, we're going to actually touch.
Oh, got him. Yeah.
Look at that there. Michelle Tyson.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a Michelle. I couldn't call it Michael in pink for some reason. I felt the need to to gender
That's
the robot.
That's the patriarchy for you. Oh yeah, the running. If anyone watches the real Olympics right now, shout out in the chat.
Oh, it's like this. Oh no.
I've been into it. Let's see if there's more videos like that on YouTube. They're pretty funny.
Uh-huh. That is really cool. By the way, Terabyte here is asking, what's the best way to get in touch with us if you ever want to show us our AI? For Grant, that is probably, is it team at Neuron Daily, the neurondaily.com? Is that the
Yeah, you can
recommendation?
email us at team@theneurondaily.com and we'll check out what you got.
Yeah.
And
Also,
if it's cool, we can have it on a stream sometime.
yeah. And also I'm easy to find on usually Twitter or LinkedIn at Corey Knowles, CoreyNoles. Hit me up anytime. As I'm usually out nerding about on something.
There was actually a pretty big robot.
This is the robot fast walk competition.
Oh
and
no,
he failed the
he
wall.
crumpled. Ugh.
If that was a human, people would cry. You'd
Yeah.
be like, oh.
Well, you know what sport is pretty intense like this? I don't know exactly what it's called. It might be Pursuit, but it's the one where there's like four guys and they're all ice skating like really close together, and like they without fail like they do like 15 heats or something, and like they knock into each other like like every fourth time or like four times in a row. It's really quite. It's like this.
This is amazing, though. It is
Yeah.
so a little sad, but also hilarious.
I see what you mean about like the toddlers. This is how parents feel when they watch their kids' soccer game.
As a guy with 4 children, I can absolutely tell you this is what kindergarten soccer feels like right here.
Yeah.
Only the difference is that robot just got one in a goal.
Yeah, I was gonna say I played soccer for 4 years and I never scored one goal, so these robots are playing better than
the
me.
robot just scored. That's the
AGI achieved, perhaps. What was the thing I was just saying? Oh, there was a good. Let me go to Reddit. Robotics.
Oh,
Let's
that's
see.
a fun deep dive.
Yeah, this is cool. Have you seen this? So this is, I believe, in
Yes.
part of a presentation for Chinese New Year. Yeah, this is freaking wild. Let's full screen this.
Yeah. Are those Unitrees?
Oh yeah, these are I think they're G1s. They might be a different model. A newer
Okay, now
one.
the G1 I believe is the like $22,000 model.
Yeah, this could be a newer one. I can't tell from the frame, but like
But it's very much the G2 legs, the G2 face. That's what's really distinctive about them. They've got that concave face with the blue LED.
And think about this. They're putting kids on stage with these robots. These robots have to be perfect for it to go on stage with a kid, because if this
because it will
accidentally
fracture their skulls.
Yeah, like if this kick or this nunchuck actually like hit this kid, like that would be so horrible. So think about how precise they have to do to be able to do this.
But what if this kid hit the robot with the nunchucks? I mean, you gotta
It
think of the
depends on how
robot,
strong
too.
he is, you know?
I'm just
Like,
kidding.
oh, like look at this. There's a guy with a sword. Hold on.
Oh, now it's a party.
Yeah,
Robots with blades. That's a good idea.
okay. I wonder if we can watch. Let's see if somebody posted.
We should go
full
look
video.
at their models here in a minute, Grant.
Sure, but at what cost?
Just kidding. This is amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know, people on our robotics are fine with it. You show this to anyone on Blue Sky or any other platform, and they're going to be like, "This
Very
is
different
horrible."
vibes.
Yeah, different vibe.
The Terminator is real.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so here's the Spring Festival Gala performance from last year. Full minute version of this year, so we can compare them. So, okay, so which one's this one? This one is from a year ago. This is what they could do a year ago. Okay. It's like fine.
Yeah. It's still impressive.
Yeah, this was impressive a year ago. I remember
To
we
be
posted
impressive,
about
let's
this.
go watch Atlas. Atlas
well-
doesn't get enough love.
I've got it pulled up actually in another tab.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think we don't talk enough. Grant, let's get somebody from Boston Dynamics on here. Why haven't we had Boston Dynamics on yet? We should do that.
Well, we're just opening the floodgates for robots right now. So
Well, I mean, I think it's
this is
okay.
cool. Wait, did you see this? Look at this. They're like spinning and then catching them.
Wow.
That's cool.
They look like, those plate mat things, like placemats.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Okay,
I'm
so
assuming
that's a
they're
year
not.
ago. That's a year ago. Now, this is not available.
Oh.
Let me see if I can look it up.
There was a fake video of Atlas this morning that I almost bought hook, line, and sinker dancing. Not me dancing, Atlas dancing.
Yeah, I imagine with C Dance 2.0, you can make some pretty convincing looking pictures.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, Atlas is impressive enough. I don't think you need to get it to do things in there that is not great.
Okay, here we go. I think this is it. This is the one from this year. Whoa. Okay, hold on. We're gonna full screen this. So here's the kids, right? They're hanging out. And then now we meet the robots here. Okay. We've seen a little bit of this.
Ooh,
The movements are so smooth.
it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, of
I
course,
can't
this
stress
is all.
enough. This is the most affordable robot company.
Actually, I don't think it's the most affordable, but it's one of. It's like the most affordable best. If that
At
makes
an
sense.
acceptable level of quality, I would
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
is
yeah.
the if like what you want is a real doggone robot. This is a real robot, and they have, I want to say it's a $6,000 or an $8,000 model, maybe even a five, and they've got one in the low to mid 20s.
This is
Unreal.
just so cool.
It is.
I wonder how many times in training one of those kids got hit by one of those.
And like watch their feet, okay?
Yeah.
Just sit here for a minute and watch their feet. Watch how they touch. They're identical. They're so synced. I mean, there are still like some balancing things going on, but
This is just amazing.
it's amazing. It is.
I mean, obviously, this is all pre-programmed, right?
Yes.
So
I don't
know.
care. It's
Put,
still
put it
amazing.
in a real fight, and we saw what it looks like. It looks like they're like boxing each other and like missing, but it's still so cool. This I'm excited to watch. So check this out. So they're like jumping over stuff.
Wow.
Like what? What? That looks human. It just ran backwards and flipped over it. This would honestly be so fun if you were one of these kids.
If I were a guy who was offered a Super Bowl halftime show, I would have these things on stage with me.
I would watch your Super Bowl at a time show.
I
That would be-
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I want to skip through because I want to see the guy with the sword. Here we
I'd
go.
stand up and read Matt Schumer's paper.
This looks like a new model. You see this one?
Oh, yeah, it does. That one in the center, maybe that's a prototype.
Perhaps.
Man, if you're off by an inch, those kid's hands are broken, man.
Yeah. They have to be perfect to do this.
Actually, do their hands look different? Do they look a little softer?
Oh, I think there's perhaps a foam thing on there. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. I don't know if it's
Smart.
foam, but different. It's not metal.
I mean, I say that it's almost got to be at least a little because, hey, thanks, Jeff. We appreciate it. We have so much fun. Appreciate you joining. By the way, for anyone who's here, if you haven't yet, please take a minute to subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you around more often so you can keep up with our stuff. And oh, there it is.
This is the one that just came out.
Boom.
Speaking of Robot Olympics.
That's the warrior right there. I see this thing and I think, can you imagine 20,000 of those coming into your city?
Oh gosh, no.
Oh,
Look, it's not perfect, okay? Even
Yeah.
robots have off days. Oh no.
it's still closer to a somersault than I am.
Oh gosh. And then you see the parts fly off. That's funny. I like that they put this out. I appreciate this.
Same. Yeah, because we only see it at its most prime and perfect quite often.
Yeah.
But obviously they stumble, they fall, they break. What an expensive thing to break too, by the way.
Yeah. And all of these parts are custom, per my understanding.
Man.
Like, there's really not a supply chain for this type of stuff.
Watch it land that. Boom.
But then, does he land this one? Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Fair enough.
actually, that's not nearly as good as the one before. The
Yeah,
one
but
before it like
I think this is like the progress, right? Like how
Yeah.
long it takes to go from like falling down to the finished demo that you see.
I love the round head with the lights.
Yeah, I like
Something
that form
about it is
factor,
a
too.
little terrifying. Yeah, its form factor is great. It's wait. Whoa. Did that say that you could get the quad for $4,000?
This guy? Yeah.
Unitree has a quad for $1,600.
I mean, if
I
this is to
don't
be
need to
believed.
know that.
I don't like these ones as much though because I find them not as useful. I mean, they're good for like surveying what like if you had a construction site, you could have this like surveying the site at night or things like that. But or I guess you could have it like there's a dinner tray on it and it could walk out and bring you your dinner.
I also, after this, want to go look at robostore.com because I'm now highly interested. Since we're here talking robots.
Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll look at it. Okay.
Unitree
Unitree H2. Whoa. Let's watch this. Sorry. Can you hear this music?
Yeah, that was a little in your face.
I don't like the face. I wish it didn't put the face on it. Like, in my opinion, this should have no face.
The face is a little. First off, it's a little dull. It's also a little haunting.
It's uncanny valley.
That it has black eyes is a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. There are some examples of. Look at this. It's got hips on it. That's funny.
I'm looking up the robots from my childhood right now on Google and thinking about how far this has come. Boy, you really want to see how far it's come. Look
they have
at
the
how
R1.
Doctor Who envisioned.
The R1 is for $4,900.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought they had a sub $5,000 model now. 40 LiDAR.
What about
Okay.
this? Oh, these are all the. Oh, human. Okay. What's this one?
Oh, Grant.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, that's like your Rizbot looking model.
Yeah. This one's about 13,000.
Rizbot's like a G1.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Rizbot is, go Google tonight. Find him on Instagram. Watch some videos. You can
I play
thank
him
us
on.
more.
I play him on the channel, but I don't know what I'll get. So.
Yeah, banned. That's what we'll get.
Yeah.
Alien Go. What are these quads? What's an affordable quad look like? Was it really $1,600?
Where does it say that?
It said it on the front page of the on Google when you were looking at it. It showed one of the models as starting at $1,600,
This one doesn't have a price on it, which implies that it's expensive.
which doesn't imply $1,600.
Yeah.
I say that they're pretty happy to put a $74,000 price tag on a page. So I mean,
Wow.
And I mean, is there like an add to cart feature on these? Can I just literally buy it, or am I just looking at showcases here?
Consumer purchases looks like you can.
Okay, what is
now.
available for consumer purchases?
G1 and the
G1.
R1.
The R1's the $5,000 one. Okay, the Go 2 I think is the.
Let's see what happens.
I think that's the
$2,800.
Okay, that's not unreasonable. My problem is, what the hell am I going to do with this dog?
Yeah.
Like, I want it. Don't misunderstand me, but my problem is like,
I
what do
prefer
I want it
the
to do? Just
Ricci.
scare my pets?
I would want this before I want one of those. Let me see if I can show you this.
I want it to be my home security system.
This guy I like.
capable of firing billiard balls at people who enter our home in the middle of the night or
No
something.
free LLM and a robot. Here, I'll look at this one. Yeah, this guy is what I want. One of these.
I just saw somebody on Twitter a couple nights ago who built one with their kid, and it was really neat.
Yeah, it's this is super cool. I actually love this thing.
They're not like super functional, but they are darn cute.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk to it. You can have it do tasks for you. I mean, kind of similar to the things that Flexion was talking about. Like, it has you can have run an agent model that it can that it can talk to and you pre-program commands and things like that. Yeah, this is cool. The other one I
you
want to
can
show.
program it yourself. Like you're able to access its code, correct?
Yeah,
And or like teach, or at least an app that lets
yeah.
you.
So actually, one of the cool things, actually, I think it was on the robotics channel. Okay, so going back here, let's look at this week. Will it be in the top? It might be. I'm gonna get distracted by really cool things. Wall climbing robot. Okay. Um, you know what? It might have been 2 weeks ago. Let me do top month. Oh yeah, this is cool. Have you seen this? Wheelchair that can just go down regular stairs.
A whole lot faster than the one you get installed for 80 grand too.
Yeah, that's a real use case that's actually awesome.
It is.
Autonomous
There's some stuff you
tractors.
wouldn't think it, but the agriculture space is full of robotics right now. They are all over it. They are using AI for all kinds of things. It's really.
He kicked a kid.
Is that Riz?
Look, he
No,
kicked
that ain't
this
Riz.
lady's bag.
I'm gonna
Oh,
steal you
no.
first.
Oh, this is wild. Look at this.
This one's a little more haunting.
Yeah.
One foot in front of the other. Interesting.
Okay. The
I
one
have
that I
lots
wanted
of
to
problems with that one.
Mistral has a robotics team. Kind of similar vibe that we saw before with the two hands.
Yeah. Claws.
I like this one. Have you seen this one?
We got the Johnny Five head again, or
Yeah.
Johnny Five ish. Fauna. Okay. What's the story
that's
there?
really cute. Let's pull that up in a second. I want to show the Ricci demo that I'm sure is going to be on here. That's cool.
Is she curling with her Rubik's
She's
Cube?
amazing. Okay. Oh wow, this is cool.
Okay.
Look at that.
Okay. I'm sold. I now need the dog because
Yeah.
it can carry my groceries. It didn't say that that was an option. I
You
need
need the
some kind
links.
of, yes, a cart attachment. I need a good mesh basket.
Yeah, and some wheels. That's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe a drink holder for when I have to go get 4 people coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. I got use cases.
I think we're getting close to the one. Okay, so this is the video that I was talking about. So in this demo that we were going to watch, but the ad was taking too long to play, this guy basically accidentally like breaks his Ricci, and it's because he's using it wrong. And so the actual creator here explains what's happening, and I'll skim through this shortly. He says basically the fact that this guy couldn't figure it out shows that it's a design problem, which I respect deeply.
Yeah.
But then he shows what you're supposed to use. So when you turn on this marionette mode, basically it goes down and it looks like it's falling asleep. And what's actually happening is it's now a puppet that you can control. Hence the word marionette. So what he does is he goes in and he's kind of explaining that now. And he shows that you can move it around. And basically what you're doing is you're training it. So however you move it in this mode, it will then, anytime you like play that recording, it'll move in that way. So he's like moving his hands around and like shaking it and then like swiveling it around like that. So then when
Yeah.
he goes back and he plays it, the Ricci robot will do it. Now, obviously, that's like a simple example where it's just shaking its head. But it just shows you the type of stuff you can do with this, which was really cool.
I should build one of these for my grandkids for Christmas.
Yeah, dude, they're really cheap too.
Like $300, right? Like
I
$299.
think, yeah, maybe more like 400. There's like a 300 one and a 400 one.
Again, cheap for robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Build your own
cheap for
robot.
bread.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay.
Basically 500 and 300.
Yeah, I mean, it's Raspberry Pi built. No kidding. 9 servos. The big one
sorry.
only had, what do you say, 36?
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's the number. He knew the number of servos, but when I asked how many parts, he was like, I don't know, but it's a lot. I was guessing in the possibly even, maybe not tens of thousands, but maybe.
Yeah. The last one I want to show before, we can drop off after this if you're down. Momo Robotics. Is that what it's called? Oh no, Sunday. I think that's it. Let's see if this is the right thing. Yeah. Okay. I love this. This is my favorite robot that I've seen. Memo.
Yes.
This is the coolest robot I've seen personally.
Aesthetically, especially.
Yeah. And if you look at the videos of how they train it, it's like a guy wearing these gloves and he's like doing all these actions. It's really cool.
The uncanny valley vibe is real, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
But this
there's
doesn't trigger it for
definitely
me.
A little bit of, this is so cool, and also a dash terrifying.
Does this trigger it for you? Does this trigger Uncanny Valley for you?
Just a smidge.
Okay. The hand movements, maybe?
I don't know. No, I think it's the eyes.
Oh, okay.
I think it's that it has those eye things.
To me,
Something
it
about
looks like a
just It has the
cartoon.
horror movie vibe to me.
I like that it has a little hat, and I like the eyes that make it look like a cartoon, almost like Baymax or something.
Now, what does Mimo cost? Or we don't even know, probably.
I don't think it's out yet. They just launched this
Beta late
year.
2026.
Beta, yeah, launching 2026.
Beta application.
Should
too.
I apply?
I mean, I don't see why not.
Okay.
Let's
do it.
apply. If you're watching and you would like your robot reviewed,
Yeah. We will definitely do this.
and brawl over whether it goes to California or Missouri.
Yeah. I mean, if it goes to Missouri, I'll go with you.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, to be clear, if it goes to California, I'll come to you.
So they built their own foundation model here called the Act 1. It's kind of cool. You can swap hat colors. Wow, fun. All right. Shall we wrap it up?
I think that's a good idea. Sorry, I got the yawns this morning, man. See my eyes?
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, well, Grant, this has been so much fun.
Definitely. Thanks
It was
for
fun to
all-
nerd
all the
robots.
people who hung out till the end.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad. I hope somebody watched. We don't see the numbers on our side, so I know at least 4 of you were there. By golly.
No. There's a lot of
I'll
people.
bet
I've been watching it. Yeah.
Oh, have you? Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad because this was a lot of fun. And hey, physical AI is one of the hottest topics this year. The truth of the matter is, we don't touch on it in the normal newsletter so much because it's not necessarily the audience, but to be able to occasionally bring some cool ones on here is very much a thing we can do. And we're always on the lookout. Basically, if it's AI related, nerdy, and gets one of us a little excited, we'll bring them.
Yeah. If they want to come hang out, let's do it.
And we're easily excitable.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching. And
All right.
if you haven't yet, please definitely subscribe to the channel. And with that, farewell for now.
Farewell for now, humans. We'll see you.
I wanted you to say it. I couldn't say it.
I got distracted briefly.
you have to say it because you
All
said
right.
it the best.
And on that note, farewell for now, humans. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.